The success of our public schools is a responsibility that lies with both state and local governments. What could you do to further support public education in the midst of a pandemic? I will repeat it one more time. The Virginia Assembly has made great investments in public education. The success of our public schools is a responsibility that lies with both state and local governments. What would you do to further support public education in the midst of a pandemic? Rosha, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you so much for that question. As we see now that being that a lot of children are not enrolled in schools, schools are currently fighting for funding. So we need to make sure that we keep the current funding and or increase the funding. Also, we need to make sure that we are training our teachers in a virtual environment. That way, when we do face another pandemic, we are prepared if we have to switch our schooling to virtual learning. I used to be on an ICP program because I had reading difficulties in the first grade. So I honestly know some of the issues that some of these children are facing to this day. So I believe that if we continue funding and fund more the the school education systems, and we train our teachers to properly learn virtual training and virtual teaching, that we will set ourselves up for success.
Thank you, Rosha. Naisha, you have 90 seconds.
I myself have 4 children in public school here in Stafford County, 2 high schoolers, 1 middle school, and 1 in elementary school. And what I can do to support the school system here in Virginia and in this district too is that continue to support the teachers, give them all of the necessary things that they will need that they need in order to educate our children in the area that they can concerning this time. Like really making sure that the communication between the schools and the parents uh, are put out there in such a way that um, it's not a battle between the parents and the schools right now. Also making sure that the poorer communities that don't have access to Wi-Fi, that they receive Wi-Fi. We have to make sure that uh, all the children have proper access to the schools. So I want to be able to support in that way, making sure that the teachers, the schools, and the students have the proper access to the internet in order to properly teach our kids during this time.
Thank you, Naisha. Candy, you are next, and your 90 seconds start now.
Thank you. In addition to being a mom, I'm also a mentor to many students in the area. I have about 10 students who I've mentored who are now first generation college students. And one thing that I've witnessed is that their teachers go above and beyond to ensure that the students have what they need. But the teachers don't have the support. They don't have the ability to organize. They don't have the ability to have input in the decision making. And until that happens, we will continue to struggle. What I would consider is, as the Commonwealth builds new revenue streams outside of taxing, when we build new revenue streams, we need to allocate and dedicate funding to our schools. We need to look at-risk students and the inequity that they face and figure out how we can provide funding to them. So for me, each conversation would be about the budget. The budget is where the power lies. And we need legislators who will fight for teachers to have the right to have input in how they teach and how they do their job, because they are the experts. And we need legislators that will fight for teachers and schools in the budget. And that's what I would do.
Thank you, Candy. So, Pamela, you have 90 seconds.
Yes, Elizabeth. School funding in light of COVID will be a difficult issue because the revenue is lower because of what's been going on with our businesses. We just don't have the tax revenue. So we'll have to be creative in Richmond to find other sources to cover this key component of what government does, making sure that our children have an excellent education. So I'll be looking for creative ways to find other revenue sources for funding our schools, to making sure that our children all receive a great education and that we close the achievement gap. We need to ensure that these children in Easton, Prince William, and Stafford County receive the same quality education as others in other parts of the state. So I think it's looking for creative ways to fund schools. And maybe we need a separate revenue stream for our schools districts. Thank you.